Today on the Pro Talk podcast.
Nice.
That's right. We got an Olympian. Not only is he an Olympian, but he's a Hall of Famer. Before I get to his background, make sure that you push the subscription button so you never miss an episode, as well as the notification bell, because we have a lot of amazing professionals we're talking to here in the Pro Talk podcast. So a little background on today's guest. Before he became an Olympian, he was a 4-year college tennis player at Pfeiffer University. 3 years, he played number one singles as well as number one doubles. 1987, 1988, 1989, he was team MVP. 1988, he was all conference. 1988, he was number 36 in the nation in the NAIA. And he also earned All-American, honorable mention, All-America honors. He's also a member of the Hall of Fame at Pfeiffer University. In 1996, he was a member of the USA, this isn't their jersey, but USA team handball team. He represented the United States in team handball. In 1995, he played in the Pan Am Games. In 1995, he also played in the World Championships in Iceland. In 1994, he played at the Goodwill Games in Russia. Right now, he's currently a tennis pro in the Atlanta tennis area. He's a friend of mine. He's a great guy, an amazing athlete. Going to get some great insights. Mr. Greg Kasha. Greg, how are you today, bud?
Hey, Rob. How are you today? Thanks for having me, man. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, I'm glad you could join us. And on a great rainy day here in Atlanta, this is the perfect thing for us to do.
Good day to chat. Yes, a rainy, wet day. We're not going to be on the tennis courts today, I don't think, unless you have any.
Or in some nice clay courts. All right. Everybody wants to know and tell us, what was your coolest experience in the Olympics or being an Olympian?
Yeah, Rob, thanks again. Appreciate you having me. It's, boy, there's so many things I could go to, but I guess, you know what? The first thing that comes to mind is two things, really. It's really the friends and the camaraderie we had traveling the world and just getting to know a group of guys that I'm still very close to today. And that blood, sweat, and tears that we went through just to be part of the team together really brings you together on a different level. So I think that the camaraderie, the friendships I developed, that I still have today. And the other thing is just walking into the stadium. I mean, I can't not say that. Walking into the Olympic Stadium, and it brings me chills today with everybody chanting USA and downtown Atlanta. Just an amazing, amazing experience to put on the red, white, and blue. Good job of representing today. I guess I should have it on, but just an amazing experience walking through and, walking in behind the dream team and seeing these basketball players in front of us that are just amazing, and just everybody in the red, white, and blue. And it was just an incredible experience.
Well, I got chills when I was keying up that music this morning. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Every 4 years you can do it.
You said that the dream team was right in front of you guys?
Yeah, they were. They were like right there. Of course, they stood out. So they were so, we're tall guys, but they were like giants. But yeah, they were right in front of us, and they got a ton of attention. They didn't stay in the village, but they were at a hotel somewhere. But yeah, we were sort of right behind them. And I do remember that. It was just an amazing experience. And a really cool thing I just thought of that I should have mentioned, my first encounter at Georgia Tech when we were checking into our rooms on the Tech campus, the elevator opens and the door opens and it's Mal Washington. He was in Wimbledon finals like 12 days earlier. And I'm like, hey, this is going to be cool. That's Mal Washington. Hey, Mal, good match, tough match 2 weeks ago. You lost, but it was really cool. It was a great experience. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't playing much at the time, so yeah, I don't think it wouldn't have fared too well. But yeah, really cool experience to see just guys walking around, and you're all sort of on the same team for those, 3 weeks.
Now, obviously, they keep the Americans together. Now, what do you guys have? A couple of different floors at Tech?
Yeah, we had a bunch of different floors. On our floor, we had the water polo guys, big big giant guys. Yeah, they kept us sort of, yeah, by floor, I guess it was. And the cool thing was when you went into the village, though, the cafeteria was open 24/7. And this is kind of weird. Little fun fact: Olympics are sponsored by McDonald's, of all things, right? Real healthy,
Yeah, right.
well
He eats a
fit
crap.
athletes, and let's go in and grab, I'll have 3 Big Macs, a double cheeseburger, 2 large fries, and you could just grab it whenever you want, 24/7. But the neat part was that seating, you could sit anywhere you wanted. So we would go sit next to, like, other basketball players from, Europe, and just kind of pick their brains and sit down and have some talk and talk trash about the Knicks or maybe the Celtics in your
Hey,
case.
there you go. So now, was it pretty cool? Like, I guess, you're like, hey, I'm kind of studly. And then you see some other stud guy. It's like, does a lot of double taking going on? Like, hey, I know that guy, but you don't want to act like celebrity stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We had a guy on our team, one of our goalies, that just was, I want to say fearless, but he just didn't care. He would just go up to everyone and snap pictures. Back in the 96 Olympics, we had the little throwaway cameras, and he would just go up and snap pictures with whomever he saw. And I tried to play it cool. I don't want to bother the guy,
Sure.
but he got a lot of good pictures, I will say, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you wonder. It's like these days, people just going around selfie, 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 selfie with everybody.
Right, right. This was, I guess this was the, yeah, the pre-selfie years, but, amazing. Yeah, you just see people that you recognize, and Anna Kournikova, and I mean, you got me thinking about all the people I ran into and, didn't really say anything to. I said hi to Mal Washington just because we were on the
Yeah.
elevator together, but very great, very cool experience, man.
So I guess now it's kind of like, hey, man, give me your cell number. Like, you're like,
Y Exactly. Yeah, today would have been a whole different story, that's
yeah.
for sure. I'm
Oh,
glad we didn't have cell phones, actually.
well, that's probably a good thing on once it's all said and done, right? So,
Yeah.
uh, tell me about your background. So when I played college tennis, I thought about playing wide league basketball when I graduated because we weren't allowed to play basketball. You, on the other hand, decided to be an Olympian. How does that transformation go?
Yeah, it's crazy, kind of a crazy story. I mean, I got involved with the handball later in life. I was actually in graduate school after college. So I was in my mid-20s before I even picked up a handball. So people are like, "Oh, your handball, your tennis must have helped your handball," but I really, or vice versa. I grew up a tennis player. And my uncle was a teaching pro. And so I started playing tennis when I was 6 in New York, Long Island. And I did well in the area, Suffolk County champ, and played a lot of tournaments and did well in the area. But so I was a tennis player, played basketball, soccer, baseball, but baseball always was the same season as tennis. So I had to make a decision, which was really tough, to quit baseball and focus on tennis. And I did. And yeah, I just continued to play tennis and really focus on it. I was doing well where I thought I could get a tennis scholarship, and I got a tennis scholarship to a small college in North Carolina, Pfeiffer University, and yeah, I just ran with it from there. But I have to say, a big part of my career was I wasn't that tall. I wasn't a big guy, right? I'm 6'5" now, but I was, when I graduated high school, going into college, I was 5'10", 5'10", 140. So I wasn't a big guy. And then once I grew, it really helped my game. And I see my old basketball coach, and he says, "Boy, you would have played more if you were if you were that size back in high school." But I was a little scrawny 5'10" guy. So I played all sports, but I really focused on tennis. Got involved with handball at a college, in graduate school at Adelphi University. I got asked to go to a tryout, and yeah, I guess it would all happen there. I just did well enough at the tryout that they asked me to relocate to Atlanta, where the team was based. And
Well,
then after
go
that,
ahead.
we talked about it already. I got to travel the world and was fortunate enough to make the Olympic team. With only 16 guys made it, and there was about 50 guys really trying out for a 3-year period.
Holy cow. So now the journey. So did you make the team and then practice with the team for 3 years, or how long was that time period?
So that's a great question. You don't really make the team. you make the national team, but there was like I said, about close to 50 guys that were on the team per se. And this was 1994, knowing in 96 this 50 guys is going to be trimmed down to 16. So it's almost like a training camp for NFL's teams that go from, 100 guys and they have to cut it to 70 or whatever they do. But this is over a 2.5 year period. So we traveled the world, but only 20 guys would go on the trip. So you kind of knew where you stood. If you didn't make a trip, you probably aren't going to make the Olympic team. So I was fortunate enough to make most of the trips. But yeah, I tell people it was like a 2.5 year tryout, really. And then
Wow.
they just trim it down to 16, literally 2 weeks before the games.
Good grief. So
Talk about
you're
being
hanging out.
competitive.
Yeah, you're hanging out with buddies, and you're trying to play team ball. No pun intended. But then again, it's like I want to. I want your spot. He wants my spot.
Yeah, yeah, it was, and you're living with each other, and yeah, you're exactly right. There's like 3 or 4 guys at each position, and they're only going to take 2 at each position. So yeah, you really learned a lot about people and
Whew.
competitiveness and sportsmanship.
Yeah, I remember down at. I guess did you guys train at Sporting Club Windy Hill?
We did. That's exactly right.
Okay, there's a place called La Peep, and you guys must have gone to lunch there just about every day. It rained. I know that because that's where I was having a
That's
pot of
right.
coffee. And I
That's
kept
right.
thinking, who the heck are these tall guys? And I heard conversations. I'm like, okay, these guys are athletes. I don't know what they do, but you never had any USA gear on. And then I asked one of the waitresses, I said, who are these big guys that come in every time I'm here?
Yeah.
And it was you guys.
It it was Le Peep. Yeah, over on Windy Hill Sporting Club. We would
Yeah.
work out at 6:30 in the morning, 5 days a week, running sprints, and we would always end up at Le Peep having like a late breakfast,
Yeah.
like 10 o'clock ish.
Yeah.
After our extreme workouts, we had a coach that was a West Point grad and Army guy. So he was like, if there's one thing we can control, we're going to be the best conditioned athletes in the world. And we might not be the best handball players, but we are certainly going to be the best conditioned. So yeah, that's what we were. That's what we did every morning at 6:30 at Windy Hill, and we ended up over there. Sorry, I didn't know you then.
Didn't say hello. That's okay. You're talking
Sorry.
to my all-time favorite player's son, Mr. Havlicek, right?
That's right. He
There you go.
was part of our team. Yes, he got most of the interviews, and most of the attention was for Chris.
Well, you know what? I have a question down the road here, but I'm going to get to it right now. From what I know, the little I know of team handball, there's the basketball background of fast break and, moving the ball and so forth. I know you're a big basketball fan. You said you played basketball. How long did you play basketball? And two-part question, did that help you, merge to be a good, team handball
Yeah.
player?
Yeah, great question. There's a lot of skills. A lot of the guys, probably the majority of guys on our US handball team had basketball backgrounds. So yeah, I didn't play a lot in high school, just to be honest. Again, I was 5'10", 140. I rode the bench. Uh, I look forward to the layup drills and before the game and maybe some cleanup work if it was a blowout. But then, I was being in the Olympics and being in handball, there were a lot of the same skills. So you're moving the ball up and down the court. You can dribble as much as you want, but when it's played at a high level, it's a lot of quick passing. The other big part of it is pick and rolls. There's a ton of pick and rolls in handball. So um, that part of the basketball game was huge, and just the overall like movement and court awareness, and being able to pass the ball quickly. Basketball is probably the game that would most of us had in our backgrounds for to be semi successful at handball.
And the ball is bigger than a softball, but not as big as a volleyball. It's
Yeah, it's described as like a cantaloupe. I call it like a children's soccer ball. Think of it as a small soccer ball made of hard leather, so it bounces real easily. Um, But the thing about handball is we use a lot of stickum on our hands, so it's a different game. You're whipping that ball, and you can actually hold the ball, just stick it to your hand, and it will stay in your hand without even gripping it, because we use stickum glue on it. So that part's very different from a normal basketball, but, so it took time for us American guys with basketball backgrounds to, to get the feel of a real handball.
So it's actually legal then to have that substance, stick them on there.
It is. It's legal.
That's
And it's
crazy.
they really slop it on too. Guys put it on their shoe, so they always have it. They just reach down and grab it on during the game, and guys put it in different places, but they try to limit it a little bit because sometimes the ball gets too sticky and it's really hard to pass or throw. But yeah, it's legal, unlike the NFL back in the
Yeah.
Lester Haynes
I was
day and
thinking
the
Lester
Oakland
Hayes.
Raiders. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
See,
All
well,
that,
this we're about the same age.
all that,
We're
that yellow crap he had on his forearms, right? Yeah.
yeah, it's legal in our sport.
So could feasibly a good baseball pitcher, if he's in shape, be a good handball player because of the throwing?
Yeah, possibly, sure. We had some baseball guys, but there's so many. I think handball is such a great, well-rounded athletic sport. It's not just about throwing; it's more about running, jumping, throwing. Having a strong arm, it certainly helps. But if you can't, pass the ball and have good court vision and do some other techniques that are involved with handball. But that's certainly, one of the things you got to have is a strong arm, sure. So yes, as long as the guy can throw hard, jump, and play defense and have good court awareness and good passing skills. There's a lot to it that people don't really realize. It's funny when my friends came down for the Olympics to watch us play, we'd come on the court and we were all 6'5", 6'8", big. We had a big team, and we would play like Egypt, for instance. And my friends are like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna crush these guys." No, these guys have been playing handballs for their whole lives, and the skill set they had, we didn't have. We were big, strong guys, but they had better skills than us, so they beat
Yeah.
us. And my friends were just shocked.
Wow. That's neat. Watching it, you almost think, why isn't this a bigger sport? Or do we just have so many sports in the United States that, okay, they just
We
go to a different sport?
we talk about that so much amongst ourselves. Like, why is our game like I turn on ESPN2 and some of these other there's so many sport channels out there now, and I'm watching these games that I don't know. They're throwing the bean bags and
Hmm.
the cornholes on TV, and I like a good game of cornhole, but I mean you can hold a drink and do
Yeah,
that.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
some of these games that are on TV, it's like our game's super athletic. Why has it not caught on here? You're right. I think there's so many other sports we grew up with.
Hmm.
The big ones that we all know, and it's just our sport is really we haven't done anything in it, so that hurt us. Our best finish was 1996, our team, and we finished ninth. So until you start winning
Hmm.
medals in this country, you're not going to get anybody's attention. That is true. We've been trying to get former NBA guys to play for a long time, and some of them have spoken like they're going to. And I remember at one of our practices, Akeem Olajuwon came in and played with us because he played a little bit in Africa, and Rick Fox, and these guys, if they played, I mean that could have put our sport on the map in this country. You're exactly right, but it doesn't pay anything, and we haven't won medals, and it's a lot harder than you think. So, but if you know anybody, maybe somebody on your Celtics or some former player can get involved.
You're always trying to poach off my team, man. I mean, you beat us last year. I got to
Well,
get full disclosure. Greg's Knicks beat my Celtics last year, so he's got scoreboard for at least a year.
there we
So,
go.
but we're talking about rings for a while. But anyway,
Yes,
let me get
yes.
back to this. So you said growing up, and I love the fact I've talked to several professional athletes and talked to their parents, and it seems like 100% of the time they've been multi-sport athletes. Today's trend, 6-year-old T-ball World Series and travel this, travel that. And it's like, what are we doing to kids? Because it seems like the greatest athletes can do a lot of different things. You're one of those. You said basketball, baseball,
It's baseball, basketball,
and tennis.
soccer,
Yeah.
tennis, hockey. I
Now,
played it all growing up.
when did you do a travel sport, or when did it become select for you?
Honestly, never. I mean, I never really did a travel sport. I mean, back in those days, I played what season it was until I started getting a little bit more accomplished in tennis. I started doing well in some tournaments. I started focusing more on tennis. But look, I always go back to, first of all, generationally, we were just super driven back then. And our parents were, they, it was just a different time. We weren't pampered. I mean, I rode my bike to practice every day, and I didn't get rides, and I walked. I figured it out. That's not like today. Um, and I always go back to John McEnroe and his academy in New York. He encourages his players to play other sports, and this is one of the greatest tennis players of all time, who runs a huge tennis academy with really, really talented junior players. And he's actually tells them to mix in some other sports. And because it's just great for the body, it's great for your balance, it's great for court awareness. So I just the focus, the parents, and the focus on today is just focusing on one sport and doing the whole travel thing is number one, is going to burn the kid out. I mean, who wants to do that every single day? And number two, I just don't think you're getting, enough of the what other sports have to offer, whether it's soccer or basketball. I mean, you're gonna learn skills whether you know it or not, just by participating in other sports. So I just every time somebody tells me they just play tennis 24/7, the first thing that comes to mind is what John McEnroe tells his players, and then the second thing that comes to mind is just burnout. I mean, you're going to burn out. How many
Hmm.
players do we know that we still play against today that could have played professionally, but they were just burnt by then after
Hmm.
college? They just had enough.
Yeah. I see it. It seems like it happens every summer that the swim the swim teams here in Atlanta, they've got these, for those that don't know, our infrastructure is so unique, the subdivisions with the swim and tennis. I probably lose 1 to 2 kids every fall that did well at swim team, and they qualified for county, and some county coach convinces that parent that, little Susie or little Joey are good at swimming, and then the parent says, we're going to do year-round swimming. We're going to take a break from tennis. I'm like, well, that's okay. They got a year-round, they got a life skill in tennis. And with about
Mm,
18 months to 2 years, I could bet any amount of money that little swimmer is done with swimming,
yeah,
or they don't even continue into high school. It's such a burnout. It's like, why? Because they make it year round just because they've got ability. That's disconcerting to me.
exactly. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I run into it as well. I have a girl at my club who just loves other sports, and I say that's great. That's great. You love track and field. You love volleyball, softball. Why can't tennis be a part of that? That's all. Let it be a part of that. You don't understand it now, but in when you're older, nobody's gonna be playing volleyball. You're not gonna be playing volleyball with your friends per se, You're not gonna be playing basketball with your friends, or football, or whatever the sport may be. So, it's a great lifelong sport. The chances of you going professional are so, 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 so slim. Okay? Just have fun with it, do your best, work your ass off, and you wanna just focus on the things you could control, and that's it.
You mentioned something that made me think when I was a little kid. You said something about that you rode your bike to practice. I remember in the summer in Pennsylvania, we had these. I don't even think my parents paid for it. It was open, that you had summer basketball. And it was maybe 10 to 12, Tuesday and Thursday. And I asked the assistant high school coach, I said, can you give me a ride home? It was at least a mile, mile and a half, small town Pennsylvania. And I know parents today are like, you did what? You walked home? The coach, I asked him for a ride. He goes, why don't you dribble home?
I knew the ride wasn't coming.
No.
I could back in the day, it was like, yeah, run backwards.
Yeah. And I remember coach said this, I'm dribbling. I was working on my left hand. Like my dad said, you
Yeah,
improve going to your left. So now
exactly.
who was your toughest coach in any sport growing up?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Two jump to mind. So at an academy I was at for tennis, I'll give you one tennis, one handball. At the academy I was at for tennis, Port Washington Tennis Academy, on Long Island. It's a big one where McEnroe grew up, and Tracy Austin. I'm aging myself, but I had this Sergey, this Russian pro who would smoke while he fed balls. And he would destroy us. I mean, we would start off. I mean, it's just, today it would never float. It would never fly. We'd walk on the court and it's just 50 balls alley to alley. If you miss one of them, you go back to zero. And he would just feed the ball to that alley and then the next alley, puff his cigarette. You must run faster. Let's go. He would destroy us. I mean, this guy was like brutal. And then the other coach was our Olympic coach, who was a West Point grad. I mean, he was an ex-handball player who took over the team. And, you know, you talk about discipline, West Point, Army cadet, I don't think it gets much tougher than that. So these guys, and his assistant coach was also a cadet. So we had two coaches that got the most out of us. They were tough. They could be difficult. We hated them sometimes, right? But talk about getting the best out of your players. They ran us as hard as we could. Their motto was, there's only some things that we can control, and we're going to be the most conditioned athletes in the world because we can control that. And we're going to work as hard as we possibly can to become the best handball players in the world, even though we didn't grow up playing the sport like our competitors did. So those are the two that jump to mind in terms of real tough coaches.
Now, were you guys the best conditioned team out there?
Yeah, I think we were. Especially the Europeans, they would smoke a lot and party a lot. And they were just more into like tactics and skill sets. And by the way, we have to run up and down this court once in a while. Our focus was just running. Like, we're going to run, and we're going to run 5Ks, and we're at Windy Hill Sporting Club at 6:30 in the morning doing suicides. And, I think we really were the most conditioned. We had, a weight training, regimen that we did after our run every morning at Sporting Club. And other teams weren't doing that at that time. So,
Now,
yeah,
I think you guys might have done better than ninth had you told those European guys, free Big Macs. Come on over and get some of those.
That's right. Maybe so.
Yeah.
Maybe bring them out and get some drinks in them the night before the game. Too.
Right. What was your greatest victory as a little kid in any sport or tennis?
Yeah. There was a guy in, I guess I'll go back to high school when I was Suffolk champ, Suffolk County. That's half of Long Island. It's the county I grew up in. I won the championship. I lost to the guy in the regular season, and he was number 1 seed. I was number 4 seed. And he really took care of me during the regular season. But as the season progressed, I improved. I just really was determined to get him back. I figured I'd have another chance at him. It wasn't a team match, so it was a tournament. But yeah, sure enough, I ran into him again in the finals, and I beat him. I beat him in straight sets. So that one there was that one there really, really probably stands out when you ask the question. That's the first one that comes to mind, was winning that against a guy that had really beat me up pretty good earlier that year.
So what was your worst defeat? Was it losing to him earlier or somebody else?
No, this takes me to college, actually. This one stands out. I had beaten this guy, several times. In college, my parents came for Parents' Weekend. And I literally choked. I was in North Carolina playing, having some good success. And during Parents' Weekend, we had a match. And, I told my parents, I play this guy tomorrow. I've beaten him 4 times. And, maybe too cocky, too arrogant, looking ahead too much. And I got out there. It was close. I got tight, and I lost. And it was horrible. My parents were trying to console me. And I'm like, I just didn't want to hear a thing about it. I beat this guy 4 times, and now all of a sudden I lost to him. Like, how did that happen?
Mm.
So I just, it got away from me a little bit. You can't take anybody for granted.
And those days are horrible. You just want to talk to me tomorrow.
Yeah,
Thanks for showing
exactly.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, they traveled all the way in from New York, and
Oh
I'm
boy.
just in this horrible mood and
Uh,
not wanting to do anything. And yeah,
yeah.
talk to me tomorrow.
Probably, the worst thing of not just being a tennis player is a tennis parent because, if you understand what a kid goes through, I always felt like Borg, Sampras, Chris Everett, those ones that would just go up to the net and shake hands after they lost and gave a good soundbite. I really respected that because we all felt like what McEnroe and Connors, you just want to go into a rage and break something and cry because it sucked. I
Mhm.
mean, it's so painful in tennis, and a lot of people don't appreciate that. The people there are just so calm and
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, people don't get it, like how frustrating it can be. And like what Sampras did, yeah, he was boring to watch, but what he did was amazing. And what his demeanor helped him win so many majors. And to me, he's one of the top 3 or 4 players of all time, maybe top 5. But yeah, I mean, the mental game is just, especially for tennis, for all sports, is huge. But I mean, especially for tennis, it's just
Mhm.
enormous.
While we're still talking about your youth background, did you ever receive trophies as a tennis player or on a team for anything besides first or second place?
No, no, maybe 3rd, but no, no, it was, look, you take it to the Olympics, right? And you got,
Hmm.
gold, silver, bronze. It's about it. So, yeah, the participation trophies, weren't a thing back then. No, it was, basically, if you're not first, you're last, right?
Yeah. So it feels like.
Different different day. It's
Yeah.
a little different today, for sure. I don't know. It probably has some advantages and disadvantages. I mean, guys of our era don't like it, don't love it. The participation trophy. But no, I never got anything unless I won. It's basically, top 2 or 3.
Well, I guess where it gets me is fifth place and you got something and the kid's happy. What did you learn? Fifth place is pretty good. Like I got something. And
Yeah,
I remember
I
the
mean,
first one I ever got was a runner up. It was a baseball all-star league. And it was nice, but it said runner up on it. And then the very
yeah,
next spring, our team won the league championship. And I love that trophy so much. I can picture it right now better than
mhm,
the first runner up trophy. But
yeah, absolutely.
so when you were in college tennis, briefly, you played professionally. And a lot of people that don't understand how big and bad the world of tennis is, it's so nuts that it's not like you got drafted into AAA and you played in the Red Sox organization or the Yankees organization. So what is professional tennis outside of college since we didn't get to see you on TV?
Yeah, it's like crazy. You think, well, first of all, today, and even back in our era, if you're not in the top 50 in tennis, you're not making a living, really. Let's say even top 100. But I played satellites, and I got the feel of guys who are ranked 700, 800, 1,000 in the world are absolutely amazing, incredible tennis players. Think about if you're 600 or 700th best at something in the entire world. It's amazing. So for me, it was real eye opening because I had a good career at a small college, and getting out there and really seeing, like, there's a good analogy you made. It's sort of like minor leagues, like minor league baseball. Playing the minor leagues, it's just amazing how many great athletes there are. And the thing about tennis that I think makes it even more, probably the most difficult sport to make it in, maybe along with golf because it's similar. It's individual and it's international. It's worldwide. This isn't a sport where it's just dominated in US or it's just a Brazilian sport or whatever. It's a worldwide sport that people are training for every day. So it was a great experience. I think I went into it with my eyes wide open. I sort of knew I wasn't going to be my livelihood, but being a competitive guy, I just wanted to see how I could do against the best in the world. And yeah, I didn't do so great. I mean, I won some matches, I lost some matches, I lost a lot more than I won. But it was a great experience. I would never change a thing because I got to really compete at the highest level, and that's what it's all about for me. I wanted to compete and see how my skill set would do against literally the best in the world.
Now, when you got done playing professionally and were interviewing for corporate positions, what did those corporate people think of your athletic background? Was that a plus or a
Yeah,
minus?
that's great. Yeah, that's a great point. Great question. My first job I got in medical sales was simply strictly due that to my background as an athlete. The guy hired me. I had no experience. I was at a job fair at Cumberland Mall. Went in there with my resume and my corny little Macy's suit, and the guy I interviewed with, I had these little 5-minute interviews, and he said, I hire athletes. I hire people who know how to compete, who have had, difficult times, who have had challenges, who have had things thrown at them, and they overcome them. And the athletic background is, and I did it too when I hired folks. It was, if you have an athletic background, it is so specific to what we need in sales, particularly what I was doing. And that's getting denied every day and still coming back and fighting your ass off to get the job done or get the sale done. Right. So, yeah, the athletic background was huge. And especially to have, Olympics on the resume didn't hurt either. Yeah, for sure. And just everything you need for the discipline and the dedication and the determination you need to make a team like that is what they want in the corporate world, especially in sales. So yeah, if you're playing sports, keep it up, do the best you can, get it on your resume, and it'll go a long way for you. Yeah, exactly. It's especially when you're training for an Olympic team, there's a regimen there that's, set for you. And some of the guys, just to be honest, there were guys that were better than me that didn't make it because they couldn't handle the schedule. They couldn't handle the workouts. They wouldn't show up on time. They didn't give their best effort. They just couldn't handle it. So if you weren't dedicated to it and disciplined and, not staying out all night, we had fun. We had plenty of fun. But if I had practice at 6:30 in the morning, I wasn't going out the night before. But we had guys who just who couldn't do that. They just were unable to do it, and they wouldn't show up for practice, and you're gone. They send you home. You're getting a one-way ticket home. So yeah, that dedication and discipline you got to have to be successful at anything is in sports or life is just so vital, and it really separates the good from the great, I think.
Yeah. You mentioned that takes me back to, wearing this when Herb Brooks said, you work 99, you give me 99%. That makes my job all the more easier to cut you.
That's right. I
Yeah.
love that movie. That
Yeah.
is
I can watch
classic.
it every day. My question, yeah, I don't want to get into the conversation of today's athletes are better than yesterday's athletes. However, the training and advancements, just the recovery aspect and what you and I now know, as far as, recovery and or pre-workout stuff, that it's just off the charts compared to when you and I were in college, stuff that we didn't even know about. And so that's all the advancements are there. So you would think that today's athletes are better. I don't know if they are better athletes, they might be, but where's the mental toughness and the resiliency that seems like it's lacking? And from what your background is, what do you see that's lacking in kids today? Like even just riding your bike to practice.
Yeah, it's this whole era, it's, so much of it's parents, the people closest to you. I'm guilty of it too, just to be honest. I mean, my daughter, we just catered to her every need and, drove her wherever she needed to and, try to say out of the love of your heart, you think you're doing them well, but you're not really teaching them life lessons. I just think we nurture our kids too much today. Um, and when they step on, in between the lines or whatever sport they're playing, they're going to have things thrown at them, questions asked that they've never faced before. So they haven't faced it at home either. So it's all new to them. So there's just not that mental toughness or discipline there. I just really feel like as parents, we nurture our kids a bit too much. Um, Comparatively speaking, I don't like to compare, but back in our era, it was different. Like you said, I wasn't given everything. I wasn't driven to my practices. And if I wanted to play, well, go play, go figure it out. Um, but today's athlete, I think bigger, faster, stronger, probably. But if you're talented enough, Rod Laver, I think would still be great today, right? I mean, I just think with all the advancements in technology on the court, off the court, I think they'd still be great athletes. But we didn't have all that back then. But I think a lot of the great athletes then, I really still do believe would still be great today. I mean, Larry Bird, I'll give you one there. Guys like that, I think they would still be great today, especially with all the advancements we've made in technology. But that's a long conversation. We could, I'm sure, talk hours about.
Well, and it's the to me, it's the stick to itiveness that we as parents go, it's pretty difficult for the kid, and we back off. And there's a lot of learning and growing through the struggles. Can you pinpoint a particular struggle, let's say your tennis game as a junior player, or a hurdle that you overcame, something that a coach said, or that when I look back, and I tell people this to this day, every time I play a match, something in the sport of tennis is revealed to me, whether it's something somebody else did or something I found out about myself mentally. Can you recall anything that maybe some adversity in tennis that helped you?
Um, it was probably, yeah, I was a big like serve and volley guy, and I didn't have a well-rounded game at that point. I guess sort of in high school, I had a great coach in high school, Alan Van Osteren, a famous tennis family, and King Van Osteren, and I guess really just really he made me become a more well-rounded player. I was just like charge, lob, and crash the net, if you will. I came in, and he had me just really focus a little bit more on some of my weaknesses, like staying back and hitting more ground strokes and figuring the game out from the back court versus just crashing the net from the front court. So that's the one that really jumps to mind was that those years of really just becoming of a more well-rounded player from the backcourt and not just being a one plan kind of
Hmm.
player where I didn't really have a plan B. Oh, I'm getting passed. Oh, I'm going to keep coming in. Well, you need to have a plan B if it's not working. So
Hmm.
I think he helped me a lot with that part of the my evolution on the court.
Yeah. I remember Matt Spielander talking about working on his slice for a year and a half, knowing that it drove Yvonne Lendl crazy and he had fun with it. He said a year and a half after working on that slice diligently, that was the shot that beat Lendl at the 88 US Open. I thought that's
Yeah.
cool. Somebody that's in the top five in the world's working on a new shot and adding to your
Yes.
game.
Exactly. Even the guys at the top can do something. I mean, look how much better Sinner's become in the front court with his volleying. I mean, he still has a ways to go. I mean, these guys, they're the best because they're the best is because they're always pursuing more. They're always trying to get better, a little bit better, 1% a day, just add a little something, which is why I feel Alcaraz is just a little bit better right now, but who knows? He's got such a well-rounded game. So there's always something you can add. And the guys that are at the top are the ones who do that, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned about coming in. For those that don't know, Greg and I personally, you and I have played on the court together and on league teams here in Atlanta. I remember one day, the first time I played with you, I was playing the ad side. I came in and the guy lobbed, and I'm right-handed and you're left-handed. And I thought, oh crap, I got to really get back for this. And I hear, I got it. And I turned over my right shoulder and I had all these thoughts going through my head like, oh, this is going to be a good day. I got this 6'5" lefty to cover, man. I was all over the net and he lobbed. I got the big guy next to me.
That's right. And you can cover the ones over my backhand.
Yeah.
That's right.
We were talking just a few minutes ago about, what kids are taught. I was at a seminar about 5 or 6 years ago, and with another pro, we were talking about the difference of, and it's not kids' fault today, but when you and I were kids, when we came home, "Hey, Greg, what do you want to do? You want to go hit some balls?" "Yeah, we go hit some balls." And then after hitting about 10 balls, "You want to play a set?" Kids learn the game through playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think today it's a little different, for sure, actually. But I for me, when I think as when I put on my coaching hat, it's more I really just sort of have this line of delineation between I used to work at an academy with, high ranked juniors, and now I'm at a country club where it's not so competitive. For me, it's just, are you out there doing it? Are you out there playing? The guys at, these academies, they know what they're there for, and they're tournament players, so we can drive them harder. Um, and the country clubs is different. Just frankly, it's different. It's not the same. We have to tone it back a bit. But I guess at the end of the day, they're learning a lifelong sport. um, and, you just have to, as a coach, it's not easy to be able to, manage each personality, each specific skill set differently. So that's something most people don't see. You and I as coaches, you really have different challenges out there with personalities, with what you can say to each child, whether it's a boy or a girl, or what their personality is. So there's a lot to it. But for me, at the end of the day, either way, as long as they're out there playing and doing their best, that works for me.
Well, some kid that either that you coach or I coach is watching this and wants to get this one thing from this whole podcast. In your most painful defeat as a professional athlete, Olympian, or college player?
Well, the defeat in college that I had, the guy I beat four times and then lost to, I mean, I just couldn't wait to get back out there and get better, and never let that happen again, and learn that, you can't take anyone for granted. I mean, you think you're gonna win and you didn't, and so are you gonna cry about it, or are you gonna do something about it? So it really just motivated me to get back out there and improve, and don't let it happen again. I have another quick story that I was on the handball team, and we had a coach before, our Army coach, West Point guy, that didn't take me on a trip to Europe, and I got left at home. And I was like, this isn't happening again. I'm not part of the 20 guys on the trip. Yeah, that was devastating. So I got left home, and I just said that it's not going to happen again. Again, it just motivated me to get better, practice harder, do the little things, show up on time, and work hard, possibly the hardest I can possibly give. I'm going to be the hustler out there. They're going to notice me, because they have to notice me, because I'm going to make it happen. So the defeats and, the things that happen out there in sports is such a great life lesson to don't pout about it, but make turn it into a positive. It really fueled me, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It fueled me to really get out there and improve what I needed to improve.
That's awesome. I love that. I felt some pain hearing that. The whole team's not like i- in
Yeah.
the next city. They're in Europe and you're at home.
Yeah. Yeah. For 3 weeks.
Holy
Yeah.
smokes.
So you get to think about it for that long.
Wow. Well, let me ask you, I know I got to be considerate of your time. Wrapping up with a few quick questions here. In your time in the Olympics, who's the greatest athlete you ever witnessed?
Yeah. Well, let me think here, because we didn't get to see a lot of other sports. So really, I would talk about a guy on my team that was an amazing athlete, the captain of our team. His name was actually Matt Ryan, not the quarterback, but he was from New York also, and he was the all-time leading scorer in New York State basketball history. Um, he he was an amazing athlete who, you talk about the epitome of a captain who just, blood, sweat, and tears, worked harder than anybody I've ever seen. Just every aspect of what he did on a daily basis, whether it was eating properly, sleeping, enough hours, training. He was just an example. I like to use him as an example because I lived with him. I trained with him every day. I could see guys playing basketball, sure, but that's from a distance. So when you can really live with somebody and be a teammate with somebody and really see the little things about them, taking care of their bodies, sleeping properly, working out, watching videos, doing whatever it took to improve and to be a leader and to really, pave the way for the rest of us because you're the captain of the team and guys are looking at you to lead us. So he's really the one that I would talk about most because I was able to see him on a daily basis.
That's cool. Now, outside of the Olympics, who's the greatest professional athlete you've ever witnessed?
Um, Darn, that's a good one. Outside of the Olympics, it would who jumps to mind first? I would boy, that brings up a great conversation I like to ask. Who are the best athletes in the world? Football, basketball. Oh man. Um, Gosh, two two guys jump to mind. One's they're both kind of football players, Walter Payton and Billy Sims. Sorry, Barry Sanders. I always say Billy Sims. Barry Sanders, Walter Payton. He was good too, yeah. He was pretty amazing. Um, Gosh, that one jumps to mind. And then, the basketball players are amazing. I got these guys. I mean, um, I'm going to throw one at you that people don't talk about a lot. Russell Westbrook was like an amazing guy on the court. He is the most amazing athlete I've ever seen. The triple doubles he had, a few years ago when he was in the running for MVP, that guy was incredible. Gosh, now Randy Moss jumps to mind. Gosh, I have a few,
There you
but
go.
there you go. There you go.
Russell Westbrook, it looked like he was on fast forward and everybody else was just average speed. It's like this guy was just faster and
It,
everything he did was nuts, explosive
it
and crazy.
crazy. It was like they were standing still.
Yeah.
That guy was amazing.
Yeah. I don't think he gets as much props as he should.
Exactly.
So okay, here we go. Who's your favorite sports team of all time?
Well, being from New York, I'll start with the Islanders.
Oh,
Really,
okay,
the
cool.
Islanders, the hockey. I mean, I love hockey growing up in the mid '80s, and they were winning the four cups and lost the fifth one, against the Oilers. Really, that's the team that I love. I grew up loving was the New York Islanders. I just love hockey. I think it's the greatest sport, the fastest sport, it's the best live sport out there. I think it's awesome. Hockey is just so great. Um, yeah, then we got to go into the Knicks. Sorry, and then love basketball. My dad just loved the Knicks and got me into it, and those older teams, Bernard King and the team in the mid '90s with Patrick Ewing and John Starks and Charles Oakley and those guys. So yeah, Islanders and Knicks are probably the ones that I would go at first.
Well, you mentioned hockey. When we talk about the greatest athletes of all time, the way they move on a kitchen knife, that's the thickness of the blade. The way they move
Amazing.
backwards. We're not even
Yeah.
talking about handling the puck and having some goon about to legally throw you into the boards. And
Yeah.
that to me would be a great sport because in basketball, when I got mad, I'd get in trouble if I pushed off on somebody, where
Yeah.
hockey, it's
Hockey,
take them out.
hockey, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Amazing athletes.
I always thought that, the coolest part when I played basketball is when a coach or my dad or somebody said something about doing something for somebody else. And John Wooden talked about when his players got the pass and they scored the bucket, they better point to that teammate that gave them the pass. And, Bobby Knight talked about how well you set picks, taking the charge, doing those things that aren't scoring points and, the pass
Yes.
and the pick and the roll and, hockey, team handball, basketball, all those team integral parts that you're putting all together to make a great team.
Exactly. I mean, I mean, I love tennis. I love individual sports, but I also love team sports. Yeah. And what you can do for others, would you rather see, the ball going through the hoop or, you're the one defending it, maybe,
Yeah.
blocking
Yeah.
the shot.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah. We're
it's,
stealing it. Right. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
What, this doesn't have to be athletic oriented, but do you have a favorite book?
Other than yours?
Oh, thank you, Greg.
All right.
Checks in the mail.
There you go. Your book was great.
Oh, appreciate it.
Um, I didn't read a lot of books. I think the documentaries, I mean, the book I liked most probably was Agassiz. I love that. Yeah, it was great. That's the one I would talk about. He's just what his dad did. I want to say did to him. I mean, I guess it paid off, but I mean, coming home from school every day and hitting 10,000 balls, and whether you're sick or it's cold out or raining, or I mean, that was intriguing, and that was how you get it done, I guess, back then. Jeez, great book. Yeah. Yeah, because Andre went through he had some demons, and he didn't like tennis. He hated the game. So yeah, it
Well,
was definitely a contrast there.
I mean, there are all kind of rumors that the daughter didn't speak to the dad for years, and Andre's brother apparently played at, I guess, UNLV, and a friend of ours, Chris Merrill, played him when he played for Long Beach State, and said Philip was amazing. Well, because dad
Really?
dad did the same thing to him, but I mean that's the book was painful, but I thought the greatest part was because of tennis, he's got a wife, and because of tennis and all those negative things that he stuck it out through, this school, which helps underprivileged kids and so forth. So it's a fairy tale,
Yeah.
good story eventually.
Yeah, it turned out to be a good story, but geez, what are the odds of that happening?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, millions to one.
Yeah. All right. Last question. Um, it could be any sport, but what makes a great competitor?
Well, I mean, and again, I think you're sort of born with this. I don't think you can really instill this. I'm coaching a kid right now. His dad is like, how can I make him more competitive like we were? I mean, I have scars on me from running into fences and running through the wall. And I mean, how can I make him a better competitor? I mean, I don't know. I really think you have it here, and when that's what makes you what you are. And I think a lot of it does have to do with your upbringing. Um, you know, back in our era, I mean, it was just you work hard all day, and you get the benefits. It'll benefit you at some point. But that competitiveness is tough to instill. Some people are just not competitive, and guess what? They're the ones not playing tournaments. They're the ones at the country club, not the academy, grinding it out, getting prepared for their next, national event. Um, So it's difficult to answer. It's difficult to instill as, someone being more competitive. I mean, it's just different levels. I'm competitive, but my captain of my handball team was a lot more competitive than me. So I think there's different levels too. So it's a conversation I'm sure that it's going to continue.
Hmm.
And we should probably have the psychologist talking to us about it as
Yeah.
well, because
Yeah.
there's a lot there mentally too.
Willingness to go through pain, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time, Greg, and you brought up some great points, and you brought up some hope. You were 5'10" in high school, late bloomer, baby, made it to
That's
six
right.
five from high school all the way to the Olympics. Uh,
Let's go.
gr-
Let's go. I appreciate you having me, Rob.
well, I appreciate your time and great insights here.
Yeah, enjoyed it very much. Thank you.
So, again, thank you for your time. And till next time, make the most of your time and always hang tough.